لم يبق في ظل الحياة سوى رمق، وحطام قلب عاش مشبوب القلق. قد أشرق المصباح يوما واحترق، جفت به آماله حتى اختنق. فإذا نفضت غبار قبري عن يدك، ومضيت تلتمس الطريق إلى غدك، فاذكر وصية والد تحت التراب، سلبوه آمال الكهولة والشباب. مأساتنا مأساة شعب أبرياء، وحكاية يغلو بأسطرها الشقاء. حملت إلى الآفاق رائحة الدماء، أنا ما اعتديت ولا ادخرتك الاعتداء. كانت لنا دار وكان لنا وطن، ألقت به أيدي الخيانة للمحن، وبذلت في إنقاذه أغلى ثمن. بيدي دفنت فيه أخاك بلا كفن، إلا الدماء وما ألم بي الوهن. إن كنت يوما قد سكبت الأدمعة، فلأني حملت فقدهما معا. جرحان في جنبي ثكل واغتراب، ولد أضيع وبلدة رهن العذاب. تلك الربوع هناك قد عرفتك طفلا، يجني السنا والزهر حين يجوب حقلا. فاضت عليك رياضها ماء وذهرا، واليوم قد دهمت لك الأحداث أهلا، ومروجها الخضراء تحني إلهاما وذلا. هم أخرجوك فعد إلى من أخرجوك، فهناك أرض كان يزرعها أبوك. قد ذقت من أثمارها الشهد المذاب، فإلى ما تتركها لألسنة الحراب. حيفا تئن أما سمعت أنين حيفا، وشممت عن بعد شذا الليمون صيفا. تبكي إذا لمحت وراء الأفق طيفا، سألته عن يوم الخلاص متى وكيف. هي لا تريدك أن تعيش العمر ضيفا، فوراءك الأرض التي غذت صباك، وتود يوما في شبابك أن تراك. لم تنسها إياك أهوال المصاب، ترنو ولكن ملء نظرتها عتاب. إن جئتها يوما وفي يدك السلاح، وطلعت بين ربوعها مثل الصباح، فاهتف سلي سمع الروابي والبطاح. إني أنا الأمس الذي ضمد الجراح، لبيك يا وطني العزيز المستباح. سيحدثونك يا بني عن السلام، إياك أن تصغي إلى هذا الكلام. كالطفل يخدع في المنى حتى ينام، لا سلم أو يجلو عن الوجه الرغام. صدقتهم يوما فآوتني الخيام، فسلامهم مكر وأمنهم سراب. نشر الدمار على بلادك والخراب، لا تبكين فما بكت عين الطغاة. هي قصة الطغيان في فجر الحياة. فارجع إلى بلد كنوز أبي حصاه، قد كنت أرجو أن أموت على ثراه. أمل ذوى ما كان لي أملا سواه، فإذا نفضت غبار قبري عن يدك، ومضيت تلتمس الطريق إلى غدك، فاذكر وصية والد تحت التراب، سلبوه آمال الكهولة والشباب.
عنا لاجئين، قلنا بل ثوار مناضلين. قالوا أنتم بلا وطن، قلنا لن يطول الزمن. قالوا تبغون المستحيل، قلنا الأمانة ننقلها من جيل إلى جيل. أيها الصامدون على أرض الآباء والأجداد، أيها اللاجئون الحالمون بالعودة، المتمسكون بحقوقكم المقدسة المنزهة عن خيانة النسيان. 68 عاما مضت وكأنها الدهر كله. محنة كبرى لحقت بشعب صغير على مرأى ومسمع العالم كله، ونكبة تتلوها نكبة، ولجوء يتبعه لجوء، وهويات بلدان مؤقتة، ووثائق كتب عليها بلا وطن. 68 عاما ولم ننسى بيوتنا وأملاكنا وديارنا في حيفا ويافا واللد والرملة. لم ننسى قرانا الحبيبة التي دمرها الغزاة وطردنا منها. لم ننسى إجزم وصبارين وعين غزال وبئر السبع. لم ننسى مرابينا وأرض الخير التي عاش فيها آباؤنا وأهلنا، أولئك الذين علمونا بأن القدس هي البوصلة، وغرسوا في ذاكرتنا كل خرائطها وتفاصيل جغرافيتها. ومهما طال الزمن وتباعدت المسافات لن نيأس حتى لو بدت الظروف صعبة ومظلمة. نحن شعب الجبارين، وما زلنا نصارع ونقاوم، صامدون مكافحون متمسكون بحقوقنا الوطنية المشروعة. نقدم لأجل ذلك الشهيدة والشهيد والأسيرة والأسير وحبوب سنبلة تجف ستملأ أرضنا الزكية سنابل. سنعلم الأجيال القادمة فصولا في القانون يقول أولها أن العودة حق لا يسقط بالتقادم، وسنرسم لأطفال وطننا العربي خريطة العالم بأيدينا ليعلموا أن كل خريطة لا يبدو وجه فلسطين عليها هي خريطة زائفة. سوف نعلم درسا في التاريخ يقول أنهما هجرتان لا هجرة واحدة. سنعلمهم درسا في الأمل يقول أنها نكبة فنكسة فنهضة، وكلنا يقين بأنه لا يضيع حق وراءه مطالب. نحن الشباب الفلسطيني أينما كنا وعلى اختلاف مذاهبنا ومعتقداتنا نؤكد أن النكبة حاضرة أمامنا ولن تمحى من ذاكرتنا ما دام شعبنا بعيدا عن أرضنا، ما دام شعبنا بعيدا عن أرضه ووطنه. ولن نقبل بأي حلول لا تضمن حق عودتنا، فالعودة حق مقدس. وإن كنا بعيدين عن أرض الوطن بأجسادنا فإن الوطن يعيش في قلوبنا وفكرنا. وسنورث الأجيال جيلا بعد جيل هذه الأمانة وكل حكايا اللجوء والعذاب. سنجعل شهر النكبة رسالة واضحة منا إلى ذاك المحتل أن ما أراده طمسا للهوية تحول إلى عاصفة شبابية تجدد التمسك بها وتعزز وترسخ الانتماء لأرضنا ووطننا. حيثما تواجدنا نعبر عن هويتنا بتماسكنا بنشاطاتنا وهمتنا وتفاعلنا، بتماسكنا ووحدتنا وأخلاقنا. لن ترهقنا محطات لجوئنا ولن تثنينا كثرة مثبطينا وأعدائنا. تحية لكل مناضل أيا كان اسمه أو لونه أو دينه. تحية لكل أسير قابع في سجون الظلم لأنه صدع بصوته يدافع عن حقه. تحية لكل متضامن ومناصر لنا ولقضيتنا العادلة. تحية لكم جميعا ولو طال الغياب فلي موعد يا بلادي على الأيام يحفظه الشباب. هنا في كل شاردة يحك القلب في شوق وديدنه الإياب، فلا التهجير ينسينا الورى مهما استطال الشر أو غاصت الأنياب. شكرا جزيلا لكم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. إخواني وأخواتي، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. بداية اسمحوا لي أن أحييكم جميعا اليوم باسم فلسطين. بداية اسمحوا لي أن أحييكم جميعا اليوم باسم فلسطين، من القائمين على هذه الفعالية إلى الحضور الكريم على كل ما تقدمونه من وقت وجهد من أجل قضية تؤمنون بعدالتها وتؤمنون بأننا أصحاب حق فيها. نحن وأنتم اليوم هنا لنحيي ذكرى النكبة الفلسطينية التي مضى عليها أكثر من 68 عاماً، وما تزال هذه النكبة شاخصة إلى اليوم. لعل البعض يعتقد بأننا نحتفل يوم في العام بذكرى هذه النكبة، لكن للأسف هذه النكبة متجددة سنة بسنة وشهر بشهر وساعة بساعة، بل دقيقة بدقيقة. فإننا كفلسطينيين في داخل فلسطين وفي خارج فلسطين نعيش النكبة لحظة بلحظة، والذي يتحمل هذه النكبة من 1948 إلى يومنا هذا هو عدونا الذي يسمى بين قوسين إسرائيل. في عام 1948 في 15 أيار، ذلك اليوم الاستثنائي بالنسبة لنا كفلسطينيين خصوصا وللعالم عموما، في ذلك اليوم المشؤوم محي اسم فلسطين من خريطة العالم، واستبدل عنها زورا اسم إسرائيل. ولكن سيرجع الزمان وستعود كلمة فلسطين على خريطة العالم، وسيمحى ما يسمى إسرائيل على خريطة العالم. في هذا اليوم هجر آبائنا وأجدادنا، أكثر من 750 ألف فلسطيني هجروا في عام 1948 وتحولوا إلى 7 مليون فلسطيني لاجئ في خارج فلسطين. هؤلاء 7 مليون لم ينسوا فلسطين ولن ينسوا فلسطين، وسيعودوا إلى فلسطين، كل فلسطين من شمالها إلى جنوبها ومن شرقها إلى غربنا. نحن رضعنا حلم العودة من آبائنا وأجدادنا، ونرضع هذا الحلم لأبنائنا. فلا يظن ظن بأن الزمان سوف ينسينا فلسطين، بالعكس، نحن الزمان سيجعلنا نتمسك بحب فلسطين وبحب العودة أكثر من أي زمان قد مضى. هذه النكبة مستمرة، بدأت في 48 ومرت على كل المدن الفلسطينية، حتى مرت على عواصم الدول العربية من بيروت إلى عمان إلى دمشق. نحن كفلسطينيين شعرنا بجرح العودة وشعرنا بجرح النكبة. ليس فقط في فلسطين نعاني من هذه النكبة، حتى في مخيمات اللجوء في لبنان هناك أكثر من 15 مخيم من عام 1948 يعيشون حياة صعبة. في الأردن لدينا مخيمات فلسطينية إلى الآن تعيش حياة صعبة. في داخل سوريا، وما أدراك ما سوريا، أزمة فلسطين سوريا التي نسميها النكبة الثانية. أكثر من نصف مليون فلسطيني في داخل سوريا يعيشون نكبة جديدة نسميها هي النكبة الثانية. فلسطيني سوريا تحولت مخيماتهم الآمنة إلى محاور للقتال، ودفع فلسطيني سوريا بسبب هذه الأزمة دماءهم وأولادهم من أجل الحفاظ على شيء اسمه فلسطين. ولكن خرجوا فلسطيني سوريا من سوريا ليقول للعالم أجمع بأننا ما زلنا نتمسك بحق العودة. أي نعم، خرجنا من المخيمات من سوريا إلى أوروبا وإلى هولندا، ولكن هي محطة جديدة لنعود إلى فلسطين بإذن الله تعالى. حلم ألم النكبة في داخل فلسطين. ألم النكبة في داخل فلسطين في الضفة الغربية التي إسرائيل ما زالت تمارس التطهير العرقي وقتل الفلسطينيين بدم بارد. الضفة الغربية فيها أكثر من 500 حاجز يدفع فيها أهلنا في داخل الضفة الغربية حياة صعبة وشاقة جدا. غزة وما أدراكم ما غزة، 10 سنوات من الحصار الظالم لأكبر سجن في العالم. هذه الجريمة التي فرضتها إسرائيل، وللأسف هناك بعض الدول الأوروبية والعربية يساعد إسرائيل في خنق أهلنا في غزة. آن الأوان لأهل غزة أن يعيشوا كما تعيش باقي الدول، وأن ينفك هذا الحصار، وأن تعود غزة حرة أبية كما كانت في السابق. نهاية عندي رسالتين سريعات. الرسالة الأولى وهي رسالة المقاومة. سمعنا عن المقاومة الفنية والمقاومة الثقافية والمقاومة الجماهيرية والمقاومة الشعبية، ولكن لم نسمع عن المقاومة المسلحة. نحن كفلسطينيين لدينا الحق بأن ندافع عن أرضنا حتى بالطرق العسكرية، فما أخذ بالقوة لا يستراد إلا بالقوة. وهذه إسرائيل التي خرقت كل القوانين وكل المواثيق الدولية لن يردعها عما تقوم فيه إلا بالقوة، فما أخذ بالقوة لن يعود إلا بالقوة. هذا الكلام ليس إرهاب. هذا الكلام ليس إرهاب. الإرهابي هو من احتل أرضنا، الإرهابي هو من يرتكب الجرائم بحقنا، الإرهابي هو من سرق فلسطين وسماها زورا إسرائيل. نحن لسنا إرهابيين، نحن أصحاب الأرض الأصلية. إسرائيل هي الإرهابية، لذلك مع المقاومة المسلحة لاستعادة فلسطين. الرسالة الأخيرة وهي للفلسطينيين: نحن نعد إلى مؤتمر لانتخاب جالية فلسطينية موحدة. الأسبوع القادم في 21/5 سيتوافد الفلسطينيين إلى روتردام من أجل أن ينتخبوا من يمثلهم. وأقول بصراحة هذا أول مرة نحن كفلسطينيين نتعود على الانتخاب، لكن في 21/5 سيكون لدينا عرس فلسطيني من أجل أن ننتخب إدارة للجالية الفلسطينية باسمي وباسم البيت الفلسطيني، باسم تجمع الشباب، باسم باك تو بالستاين. أحييكم هذا اليوم وأرسل باسمكم تحية لأهلنا الصامدين في فلسطين، إلى النساء والأطفال، إلى الأسرى، إلى عائلات الشهداء. رسالة من هولندا، من هنا من أمستردام، إلى أهلنا الصامدين هناك، نقول لهم إننا معكم وأرواحنا معكم، وإن شاء الله تعالى يوم من الأيام سيعود الجسد إلى الروح ونعود إلى فلسطين. السلام عليكم.
الجلال والجمال والسناء والبهاء في رباء والحياة والنجاة والهناء والرجاء في هواك في هواك. هل أراك غانما منعما وغانما مكرما، سالما منعما وغانما مكرما. هل أراك في علاك تبلغ السماك تبلغ السماك. موطني موطني موطني. الشباب لن يكل همه أن تستقل أو يمين أو يمين. نستقي من الردى ولن نكون للعدا كالعبيد كالعبيد. لا نريد ذلنا المهبدا وعيشنا المنكدا. ذلنا المهبدا وعيشنا المنكدا. لا نريد بل نعيد مجدنا التالي مجدنا التالي. موطني موطني عيداك موطني 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 الشباب لن يكل همه أن تستقل أو يبيد نستقي من الردى ولن نكون للعدا كالعبيد لا نريد كلنا المؤبدا وعيشنا المنكدا كلنا المؤبدا وعيشنا المنكدا لا نريد بل نعيد مجدنا التاني موطني aman 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 قالوا لي اجا العيد قلت العيد لاصحابه شو بنفع العيد للي مفارق احبابه يما قالوا لي اجا العيد قلت العيد لاصحابه شو بنفع العيد للي مفارق احبابه العيد يا يما لما بلادنا بتعود العيد يا يما لما بلادنا بتعود وارجع أرض الوطن وارجع أرض الوطن وبوس ترابه يما هدي يابا حر هدي يابا طولنا بغيبتنا ودي سلامي ودي يابا للأرض اللي ربتنا سلم لي على بلادي تربة أهلي وجداني سلم لي على بلادي يابا تربة أهلي وجداني وبعده العصفور الشادي بيغرد لعودتنا سلم لي عزيتوني على أهل ربوني سلم لي عزيتوني وعلى أهل ربوني بعد أم الحانوني بتشمشم بمخدة نار هدي يا بحر هدي يا بطل ولا بغيرنا ودي سلامي ودي يابا للأرض اللي ربتنا للأرض اللي ربتنا للأرض اللي ربتنا للأرض اللي ربتنا
outside of the land, but you can't take the land outside of the people. And for Palestinians, wherever we are in the world, Palestine still is the center of our universe, and that's the place where we always belong. And for me, it is a just cause, and for all those who believe in justice, they will always come around that center. And bringing people here today in Amsterdam, far away from Palestine, means that there is still hope for Palestine, and that people who still believe in justice and peace exist. And that's also hopeful for the people of Palestine.
So you're basically saying that it plays a role in the identity. And please feel free. By the way, sorry to say, forgot to say that please, if you have questions, raise your hand, and then I'll try to give everybody a chance to say anything. Would you say that that it has a role to play in identity?
Well, identity is a very complex concept, let's say, because what I would say as my Palestinian identity is different from what other people would say, and it revolves around people's experiences and people's understanding of themselves and their identity. For example, in the case of Palestine, Palestinians were subjected to the loss of land, and after that it was very important for them to maintain something else rather than land. So it was in very different ways in Palestine. For example, I grew up and I was born in a refugee camp. Being a refugee was part of my identity. Hearing stories about the village where my family comes from, it's a village called Ajur, on the way from Hebron to Gaza. Hearing stories of and about the village were part of my identity growing up. Knowing about our rights, including the right of return, was part of my identity. So many other issues, including the food we had at home, my mom who always wore the Palestinian dress, dancing dabka, all were part of that identity. So it's a very complex mixture of many different elements.
I see Mohammed nodding, agreeing, but
I'm nodding because I agree with everything she said. She just put it all together. Nice.
Let's stay with you, Khulud. Could you just tell us something more about, while there's a worldwide discussion about refugees, let's call it the new wave and the older, and how everybody has a say in that. What is your experience in that? Also in your work, I've understood.
Well, being a refugee, I'm only one person of about 7 million, so I can't speak for the whole 7 million. However, for me, I grew up as a refugee, a third-generation refugee. Growing up in a refugee camp, I guess many people here have experienced, is very different because you grow up every day listening to stories about where your family came from, and at the same time experience for yourself what it means to live under occupation. Because living under occupation, for example, means that you live the Nakba every day of your life. For example, when I lived in Aida refugee camp in the summer, some people don't have water in their houses for about
3 weeks or 4 weeks or sometimes 2 months, even though the settlement nearby has 24-hour, 7 days a week access to water. So that's part of the Nakba. We have no land, although on the other side of the Israeli apartheid wall, all our land is stolen. In addition, of course, to the land where we come from after 1948. That's part of the Nakba. Being a refugee in every part of Palestine and in the diaspora is totally different. So if you want me to give you example, I live in Aida, and some of our main problems include the Israeli apartheid wall, which surrounds the camp from 2 sides. And on the other side, there's a military base. So every day, as I speak today, and every day, there are soldiers coming down to Aida camp, almost day and night, to arrest people, to throw tear gas at people for no reason. And it's never safe, even in your own bedroom. I worked in different refugee camps around the West Bank where, for example, in Nakba Jabal refugee camp in Jericho, people do have a bit more space, but that space was built on another Nakba, or what happened in 1967, when a lot of people in that camp ran to Jordan to run from the Israeli forces. Many of those were bombed, either on the way to Jordan or in Jordan. And who remained in Nakba Jabal have now a bit more land than others, but that was built on the suffering of other Palestinians. So every refugee camp has a story, and if I start, then you won't end.
Of course, every story is worth to be told. Talking about refugees, I'm going to go to Mohammed, that you've seen the Palestinian community here in the Netherlands almost triple because of the war in Syria. And what would it mean? What would it mean for the Palestinian cause in general?
Well, as I said before, like we Palestinians are living a Nakba after Nakba after Nakba. And today it's not only in Amsterdam but also in Berlin. I see like Palestinians from Yarmouk refugee camp and from other places like in Syria. And they tell me about their stories and how the camps look like and how like it looks exactly the same as the camps in Palestine, like narrow streets, houses with no, like we call it zingo. I don't know what the English word for that, like metal plates. You don't really have a roof. And the situation is like as hard in Yarmouk as in Gaza. Like they don't have electricity or pure water. You have to go to the well or places where they distribute water in order to like take a shower or drink or something. So it really feels like we had a bad feeling before, but when we see more Palestinians coming into the diaspora, we feel much worse because it's not fair. We need to go back to our country and just like be the Palestinians we have to be.
Yeah.
In Palestine.
Is it a reminder?
It's always a reminder.
You're almost saying as if it's a reminder that you have stayed for quite a while in Europe, and that maybe that this distance and this long term and this that it maybe that it kind of you forget what it really was like.
Well, before I came to Europe, I didn't even know like about the refugees outside Gaza Strip, and I knew that like in my identity it's written refugee, like you're a refugee, you're not a citizen of Gaza Strip. And my parents like always reminded us that we do not belong to Gaza. We're just visitors, we're just guests here. But when I came to Europe, I've seen like the bigger image. There are more Palestinians, 40,000 people living in Berlin. I don't know how much living in Amsterdam. 30,000 living in Paris, 50,000 living there. And then when I went to Idamina and I've seen like more Palestinians coming from Syria, from Lebanon, from Iraq, it was like, we're everywhere. Everywhere you go, there are Palestinians. So it's really hard that we can go to other places, but to our homeland, we can't. For example, she was talking about the Aida refugee camp. It's my dream to go to the West Bank and see what's going on, but I can't. Like if once I tried to cross the Israeli crossing Erez checkpoint, and they put me in prison for 7 days, even though I had papers to go to the American consulate for a visa interview and stuff. But I've never been there, and it's a dream for the people in the West Bank to come to Gaza and be by the beach and meet the people of Gaza and understand how the culture and the psychology of the people of Gaza.
I hear you when you say that being let's say Europe or any other country or Western country, that it brings so much, of course, with the diaspora, it has its marks, it has its wounds, but at the same time, doesn't it create opportunities for mobilizing, and either three of you can answer.
Yeah, I feel like it does create opportunities. I think especially in the Netherlands, where the Palestinian community wasn't as big as before. I feel like non-Palestinian activists can learn a lot from the Palestinians coming from, for example, the camp. They are very well organized. They know much more about the situation there, and we really need Palestinian narratives, and that's what's missing a lot. So hearing their stories and hearing them tell us what is happening in, for example, Palestine, how they experience the Nakba, for example, I feel that's really important, and I feel like a lot of pro-Palestine groups should really focus on including these Palestinians, because it's actually of great importance to have them.
Well, yeah, I hear you as a as a Moroccan. I definitely hear you when you have the biggest, let's say Arab of the diaspora that is living here. That is the important narrative, and that is that you can be an ally in this case, and allies cannot guide this movement. And that's why I said, isn't this a good opportunity? Isn't this, shouldn't we look and really listen and say, okay, this is our place, we're an ally, let's, and...
Yes, I completely agree.
Let's go back to, if you say opportunities. Now, the BDS is a notorious movement, and it's always good to be notorious, because then you're doing something right. Could you tell us about the state of the BDS campaign at the universities, and then in the context of?
Yes.
You can also broader talk about international.
Well, the BDS movement is a very interesting movement. It's going really fast in the sense of gaining supporters, but also gaining people who really are opposing this movement, mostly because it's very effective. You can see, for example, at universities in the United States, but also in Europe, you can see a lot of young people voicing about Palestine in a very academic way, by talking about subjects such as academic freedom and how Palestinians aren't, for example, Palestinian students aren't always allowed to go to, for example, other universities, or aren't even allowed to go to their universities because they have to go through checkpoints and are being tear gassed on campus. For example, now you can see in the UK and in Spain, in the United States, even in Chile a couple of weeks ago, they passed a bill, BDS bill. At the same time, you can see that a lot of governments are making legislation against BDS, and that in itself...
I think France is one of the first ones to do
France
this.
is always one of them. Yeah.
Liberté.
Yeah, so it is. You can see that it's very effective, because when governments are even making legislation to fight against this movement, for us, for BDS supporters, it's actually almost a compliment, because it's apparently working very well.
Do I already have, because I'm really looking this way, I forgot to the audience. Do we have questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Yeah, okay.
I am going to say that my English is not good like 45 years ago when I came to Holland. But I had to see the last time when you have a meeting, it's in Amsterdam or The Hague or Rotterdam, you see a lot of educated Palestinians above water. You understand what I mean? But when the meeting is finished, they are disappeared. This is why. When we have in Rotterdam, the Palestinian house is already known in the media. It is always open for every Palestinian, a woman, a girl, a man, everyone, every day. We have election next week for the Palestinian people in whole Netherlands. I hope to see you there. We can discuss it. And the Palestinian people, we have need educated people now. Because I think we are the past. We don't know anything like we do in the computers and the media and the internet or so. But I think we have hope, a lot of hope, to see you there, to talk with you, to give us about your experience in meetings, in your language, in your government, or in your, let's say, about refugee camps in the West Bank. Because I don't know how many refugees camps in the West Bank. I have only in Nablus, I have 3, 4. But I don't know how much in, let's say, Bethlehem or Beit Sahur or Beit Jalan. Thank you.
شكرا.
يعني بالاول انتم البركه يعني مش بدنا نعمل من غيركم.
لا مظبوط بس يعني انتم ما شاء الله طبقه متعلمه الان ويعني بتعرفوا اكثر مننا الان خصوصي الميديا على الصحافه على اشياء كثير اكثر. احنا تعلمنا شيء بسيط وقفنا لكن انتم عندكم ما زال development تقدم في الموضوع.
I think maybe isn't it that just to clarify for you that it is about that it's a complete different context and a complete different that we maybe have just other tools.
Well, the tools are different, but also how organized we are around things that would bring together young people as well. For example, well, I've only been in the Netherlands for about 3 months now, and I'm in Groningen, so it's a bit, it's far north, like but I think there should be more events that attract or are designed for younger people, that will bring together people who are interested, say, in music or dabke or even like food, and then there should be more advertisement as well using social media to attract younger people. And I think now there's more opportunity because in Groningen at least I met some Palestinian Syrians and some Syrian refugees now who are very active and who really want to work. So to attract that group now that is coming to the Netherlands is also very important, I think. And as you said, the means are different. So social media now is very effective and very important. And we have to look at ways to bring young people together as well. But I think as well that there's a large percent of educated Palestinians everywhere. And that's also very, very effective and very important when it comes to the work of young people for and about Palestine.
That's good. I have already told that next week we have election in Rotterdam. It's already you see in the media. And I hope that everyone here to come and join us and celebrate that the beginning of to have a Palestinian community in whole Netherlands. We don't care they are Palestinians. People they like to work also with the Palestinians. They are always welcome. I hope to see you next week, 21 of May.
I'm sorry.
I wanted to add something to, what Sir said there. The problem is I myself have tried to organize events, and the problem is usually the sponsorship, because in order to do something you need money. Usually you wanna, you gotta rent a location or whatever. And the problem is that sometimes if you manage to find someone to sponsor you, they want to sponsor you, with a certain theme, referring to their political ideas or agendas, and that's the problem. I mean, myself, I'd like to only, if I want to organize an event, I want it to be only for Palestine and like political agenda free.
Sarah or
I just want to add to what he says, like usually, also not in Holland, but also in Berlin, in Germany, usually we get invited to these sort of organizations. We try to be as active as we could, but then afterwards they try to politicalize us. For example, you have to be Fatah, you have to be Hamas, you have to be PFLB, you have to be DFLB. We're just, no. to be honest, like I'm so sick of all these categorization. Like we want to be Palestinians. Palestine is about everyone. Well, you should promote your idea.
Only the Palestinian flag.
Well, tell this to the people. Tell this to the people. We're not belonging to any organization. We just want to have a home for Palestine, and everyone is welcome there. But the problem, like, even in Germany, people say that when we go there, it's a different story. Like it's different colors and different flags. So,
Sarah, I've known. Because I think, as I've understood, when you talk about the university and BDS is much different, for example, in America, where universities can invest, than in the Netherlands. If I'm right, I don't know. Please correct me. So what does that look like for, you were saying young Palestinians are coming into the Netherlands. So what does it look like, this BDS at universities?
Yes. Yeah, it is very different from the American universities who, like you said, invest in certain companies or like in Israel, basically. Here in the Netherlands, you can see a lot of universities who have ties with Israeli universities. For example, VU University, but also other universities have a tie with Tel Aviv University. And these are the types of universities that explicitly express their support of the occupation. For example, during the war on Gaza in 2014, they said they support their soldiers, even though 2,200 people died, of which 490 children. Tel Aviv University is also, because we're talking about Nakba today, is also a university that is built on a Palestinian village. So it's very, very disturbing that Dutch universities have ties with universities like these. They're exchange ties, basically. So we challenge this, but also the whole discourse about Palestine in the academic sphere, especially here in the Netherlands, is very weak. We don't talk about Palestine, we don't talk about occupation, apartheid. We are not there yet. So we feel like a lot of academics have failed to put Palestine on the agenda. And that's why we as a student group constantly talk about Palestine, constantly organize events, lectures, and actually we've succeeded in putting Palestine on the university agenda. The university board told us that they've never in all the years thought about Palestine. They've never did. Even though they have a tie with Israeli universities, it was never part of their agenda. And now, because we're constantly pressuring them, and there's a lot of media attention towards us and towards them, they're obliged to talk about Palestine. And that in itself is already an accomplishment. So we hope that further on, it will stay on the agenda until they do what they should have done years ago, and that is break off the ties with Israel. And then we can just continue with knowledge, because a lot of knowledge is missing. And that's why I'm constantly saying, Palestinians, please join, because we need their knowledge as well. So that's what we are trying to do on universities. And within a year or two, within a year, we already have like 5 campuses that have Palestine student groups, which is for the Netherlands very huge, because the whole activist movement here isn't always very strong. But now with Palestine, it's connecting students with different backgrounds for one goal, and that is a free Palestine.
Beautifully said. I have a question. Do you want me to come to you, or could you just stand up and ask your question? I'm going to ask you to make it short, so we have just a few minutes left.
I want to ask you, you're from the university, right?
Yes.
I wonder if there is more connection there, because it's a very Christian university from the Arab. So I want to know if there's more difficult to get them away from supporting Israel universities and the connection there because of their Christian. I myself work at the University Hospital from the
It is definitely very difficult. VU University is a very conservative university, so there are a lot of ties, like maybe not official ties, but definitely ties. For example, they bring over academics from Israel. Last year, they even brought the head of Haifa University, who just began his sentence with, "Hi, I'm a Zionist," and then started talking. He said that, for example, Palestinians oppress themselves somehow, and he said like some very disturbing words, and the university invited him over. So you can see there are a lot of ties, maybe not official ones, especially not now because they know we're watching them basically. But they constantly make things difficult for us. For example, a couple of months ago we had a event. Some of the SRP students dressed as military, and we walked down the campus, and then we stopped students and academics and asked for their ID. Why? Because we wanted to bring the conflict back home. So, because a lot of students, like I said before, Palestinian students cannot go to universities in peace like we can. So that was our message. The university board punished us right away. They said we won't support any of your events anymore, and they wanted to ban us from university. So that was their first message. Then we said, fine, but please give us that in writing. So write down what you just said to us. And then they got scared because they know we have a strong support group. They know that if we bring this to the media, again, they will be in the media and being, properly, they will say they censor us, basically. And after that, they said, fine, we won't ban you entirely, but there are not certain events that you cannot do on our campus. So you can see that constantly there's a fight between us, in fact, they don't want us, but at the same time, they know if they ban us, they'll have trouble. So that's kind of the state we're constantly in. Yeah. Thank you. We still have a few minutes left, so I'm going to ask a question now.
May I say something?
Yes, of course.
I'm Malaccan. As supporters of Palestine, I think that is too high for us, but as simple person, I think you can support Palestine BDS by not buying their products. That's my opinion. So it's very hard to do that because everything you buy, like for us women, cosmetic stuff is all Israel. So it's very, very hard. But at least if you can do that, I think that is also supporting, right? Supporting Palestine.
I think it was that what I've seen from the BDS, one of the strengths of this is very targeted boycotts. That you get a product and you campaign on it, and that has been proven very effective. I don't know if you wanna.
Yeah, well, that's a very valid point because when you talk about what universities can do on a large scale is different from what a person on a personal scale can do. And I think every person can do something for Palestine. And one of the things is to be more aware of what we buy from a supermarket or a cosmetic shop, or at least read the news that is not biased, or try to post things on social media networks about Palestine. There's a lot to do. And what you said is true, that in a lot of places, for example, 2 years ago, one of the universities in Scotland, we campaigned to boycott one of the water companies that provided water for the university, Eden Water. And it comes from Israel. And one of the warnings of BDS was that the whole university boycotted that water company. So we can do things on a larger scale, but every person can do something for justice in their own way as well.
And try to convince others.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, raising awareness
Yes, exactly.
and educating.
Exactly.
I have time for one more last question from the audience. Yeah, Thomas.
Well, since we are gathering here also in the Netherlands today and in Europe, I think it's important that we all here together, but especially also the Dutch people, realize that the Zionist movement was established in Europe. It's not a movement from the Middle East colonizing Palestine. It's a European movement started in 1917 in England, colonizing the Palestinian land. So if we talk about solidarity with Palestine, it's not only us waving the Palestinian flag, it's about fighting our own masters here. It's about fighting the Dutch government, which is a very big supporter of the Zionist regime. The first one to recognize, the Dutch embassy in Israel in 1948, it was in Jerusalem, the capital of Palestine. So they buy for 200 million euros worth of rockets from the Israeli regime. These ties go way back, decades. So please, if we...
Well, all in the airport.
Yes.
We have Israel in Schiphol.
Yes. So we have to fight everywhere. It's not just about showing our solidarity, but being an active participant in the struggle. And about the universities, because in hundreds of universities, students said, we want to boycott Israeli universities. And the student councils, they said, we will boycott Israeli universities. But the actual board of the university, they don't boycott Israeli universities. Why not? Because they are the fucking elite of the US.
Language.
Sorry.
They're children.
And the elite of the US is imperialist, is Zionist. So we have to fight them. So if we don't fight our own leaders, Palestine will never free.
Thank you.
And if the people in Palestine will not fight the Zionist enemy in Palestine, then the Netherlands, for the oppressed people here, will never be free. So
thank you. Thank you very much.
Any last words? About my last... I remembered, after your comment, I remembered a story of in the States. There were the Montgomery bus boycott
By African Americans. They would boycott going on the bus because they were treated, without dignity. They had to sit in the back of the bus, etc., etc. And then a lot of African Americans who had to work different jobs had to go by foot to their job, to their work. They asked this one woman, they asked her, you are of old age, you have to go by foot all the time. Why do you boycott the bus? Just go by the bus, it's easier. And the woman said, yes, my feet are hurting me very, very much, but my soul is rested.
Yeah.
And I think that's an amazing message for people supporting BDS, that maybe it won't free Palestine just by boycotting. There has to be other stuff going on as well, but it's also a part of principle. Yes. So keep your soul rested.
I'll just finish my day here with what Thomas have started or talked about. I came here and I had a million things to do in Edomini, but I'd rather be with you because if I change one person's mind here, then I've made an accomplishment. My wish is, like you guys, to not leave this door and forget about everything you've heard here, but keep talking about it. Campaign for Palestine, be active and support the people of Palestine who are doing a great work. Just don't be just neutral and just attend events and just be there. Just be active as much as you could. Thank you.
Since we're gathered here to talk about the Nakba, I took my mother to our original village last year in Ramadan. And the village is still there, totally destroyed with nobody, not even Israelis living on it. But my mother sat there under one big tree and she started crying. And she said that she would return even if she had to sleep under that very tree. And when we were walking in the village, one thing that broke my heart was that the almond trees in the village, they were occupied by this, we call it ushba, like a herb. That is a plant that is not a tree, that rolls around trees that are green and kills them. And the only way for the tree to be saved from that herb is for people to clean it. And that was a reminder for me that because the people of the village were not there to clean that herb, it actually is going to kill the trees. But my mom told me then that even when that herb goes around the tree and tries to kill it, from the roots, a new tree will come up. And to me that was a reminder that we will never forget where we come from. And from our roots, new roots will come that will be stronger. And that one day we will return to our land because it's feasible, because I've been there and I know it exists and it's still empty, and because Palestinians everywhere in the world still believe in our right of return. So thank you.